Hey guys, what's up? Trevor from Generation High Output here, and today we're talking about project cars. Now you might have seen some of our other videos of our cut-up Lexus or our crazy Monte Carlo, but today we're going to talk about the first project car that we ever did together, the Taurus SHO. The guys and I had talked about buying a project car together for a while, and it finally came to a head in June of 2008. We looked on Craigslist and we saw a Taurus SHO for $750. And we called the guy and offered him $600, and he said he'd take it, so we went out to go look at it. Here we are driving to Cameron's house so we can pick him up and we can all go look at the car together. Since I was filming this with a hilariously outdated camcorder, Mike thought it would be funny to pretend it was actually 1996.
So we're on our way to get the, it's only, what is it, like 5-year-old car for $600, 91 SHO. It's got at least one known slicer, 6-putt clutch, rod shift, solid bushings, Pro MF. Surf's definitely up. Check this out. I just got this last year. It's a 90s, or I got it this year because it's 96. Well, I got it last year because it was in 95, but it's a 96 model. I've already put almost 100,000 on it. I still owe about 19,000 on the car, but I have the money. I just don't feel like paying it all on. I'm trying to build up credit. I'm rich. That's why I have to put $600 cars on from the newspaper. From Craigslist, from www.autotrader.com. It's a website where they buy and sell cars. Some of them even have pictures. I saved it on. I saved the picture on a disc because I want to show Cameron, and he has a computer too. They just got it. Here we are, home away from home. Got a new parking place up in the spot. Up on that solid rock. Let's do it.
Before we could even bring the car home from the guy's house, we had to stop at the auto parts store and buy a battery for it. I also remember the brake lights not working, and Cameron had to climb up under the footwell and shove a folded up piece of paper into the brake pedal switch to make the lights work.
Let's hear it.
The guy we bought the car from already had another Taurus SHO, and the one that we were buying was his parts car. He'd pretty much already stripped it of everything he wanted, including the headliner, back seat, carpet, you name it. This thing was pretty bare bones when we got it.
It was actually someone's parts car though. It was not, we went to the guy's house and he had like at least 2 other ones?
2, yeah.
One of them was like supercharged. All of them had interiors except this one.
So we got the thing home and we were super excited to have a Taurus SHO. This is basically the car that the word sleeper was invented for. On the outside it looks like a total plain Jane Taurus family sedan, and under the hood is this screaming beast of a V6 engine with 220 horsepower, and it was a quick car.
This is the SHO we just bought for $600.
I definitely know what car I'm buying next. I'm buying another SHO. Yeah. I see what.
The car did have a couple of nice things going for it. It had already been converted from a cable shifter to a rod shifter, and as we would later find out, somebody had welded some homemade subframe connectors to the bottom of the car. As I mentioned, this car was somebody else's parts car, It had already been pretty stripped of all its good stuff, and the fact that it even ran was pretty amazing.
Ready? It's running rich. Yeah. Black smoke coming out of there.
Really?
Not a lot, but a little. Alright, kill it. I don't want to die when I'm down there. Oh, man.
A bunch of stuff under the hood had been disconnected. These big electrical harnesses and connectors were just dangling everywhere. The dashboard was lit up like a Christmas tree. Every single warning light was on. The airbag light, the ABS light, the check engine light, brake light. Boy, it was a real mess.
But it had no surround on the column, so it looked like we had stolen the car because the plastic column surround was missing, and there's just the whole ignition components, like to start the car, just hanging out, bare wires and everything.
One thing that I thought would help fix the car was installing a new fuel pump, and after I dropped the tank and drained some of the gas out, only to discover that it didn't need a fuel pump at all. We really didn't have any money or any tools or even a good place to work on the car, so most of the stuff we did at first was cosmetic.
Well, we've had the car for about 2 months now. A lot of big changes. We got some new tires on the front, correct wheels on the back, and they're painted to match the car. We painted this trim from black to a nice light gray. Pretty early 90s. Painted the door handles.
We were able to swap over a bunch of parts from a Mercury Sable that we had. We put in a back seat and some carpet and tried to make it a little prettier.
We got the carpet out of that Sable. Didn't we use a baseball bat somehow when we were getting the carpet out? We had to like bash something out of the way with the bat. I don't know why a baseball bat was used, but I think we did it without pretty much any tools other than a baseball bat.
We're already doing that. We're already adding a back seat, and I think at the time a carpet was just it was just icing on the cake.
One thing that I learned from this experience was if you take a carpet out of a car or anything, or a rug probably too, to the car wash and spray it down, you could keep folding it and running it over to squeeze the water out, and it'll do it forever. We did it for like 2 hours and water was still coming out. Like forever, like actually forever. We just kept folding it more and more times. I think we did it more times than Mythbusters did the paper on that one episode. Like we folded it like 17 times, and it was like a molded carpet for a car, and just black water came out even like after hours. That was disgusting. And you know it was all just cat piss, because that car was in the desert with open windows with cats everywhere. And that's what we wanted to put in the car. Ugh.
The inside of the car has a couple new changes. We took the carpet out of the Sable, along with the sun visors and the back seat. Got some new gauges. They're not hooked up or anything. Found a racing seat in the alley behind my house, so we might be trying that out soon.
Since we only really drove the car a few times, I've got some pretty vivid memories of it.
One time driving around at night, and we went down the street from my house and got too far, and the car died. It just died in the middle of the road, and like we had drilled holes in the exhaust. It sounded more like a Yamaha dirt bike than a Yamaha V6. And so everyone comes out of their houses and they're like trying to take our IDs and shit. I must have been like what, 17, 18 years old at the time. And they're trying to take our IDs, and we told them you know like just to fuck off. And I walked all the way back to my house and got my Mustang and came hauling ass back up the dirt road in my Mustang. It just must have been such a sight, because first, there's this old piece of shit, loud, ratty Taurus, just fucking hauling ass down the road, and then it fucking dies. Then you get into a fight with this teenage kid, and he comes back with this even louder fucking Mustang, and like, did we even, what did we do? Did we get the car running, or did we push back?
We had to go get a gas can.
That's right, we had to go get a gas can because it ran out of gas,
and they were telling us to stay here, as we were putting gas in with the gas can, yeah,
and then we got it fired up and just fucking left.
Yeah, because there was no reason.
Yeah, fuck them, I don't have to listen to them, they can find my house. But, yeah, those are probably some of my favorite memories.
Almost everything about the car happened on dirt. Like there was that time when we were driving it and we saw some like kids on BMX bikes or something. We saw them go into a part of the desert we never went in before. So we thought we'd take the car in there, and we ended up driving it on the BMX jumps. That was a weird thing. Probably a lot cooler to see than to do. Because imagine if you were just, you know, out in the desert on your jumps and somehow you've identified this as an SHO, which no one ever would. And it's driving on your dirt jumps.
I wasn't there when we got rid of it. I drove it once, and I never worked on it.
But also, the one thing I remember about driving that car, because I think out of everyone, you and I drove it the most, and it had that, I don't care what anyone says, it had the worst manual transmission of any car I've ever driven. I don't care, like I couldn't imagine it with the cable shifters. Like even comparing it to like 1970s dump trucks, like it was so mushy. It was like trying to stir like a bowl of mashed potatoes. It was the shittiest thing. And like the gates were like 6 inches apart on each one. Like there was nothing you could do. Like it had to have been like a transmission out of a Mazda truck or something. I mean, I understand it's front wheel drive, it's transaxle, but just the gate system, it was just awful. It was an awful transmission. I mean, it was cool that it was a stick. I wouldn't have it any other way, but it was the worst stick I've ever driven in my life, ever.
Another really memorable story involving the car was driving it home from the thrift store one day. There was a summer storm, a monsoon storm.
It was a dust storm and there was lightning and
crazy blowing wind, and we were just hauling ass down this dirt road. And I forget what we had bought, like a Laserdisc player or something.
Was it a Laserdisc player or was it an SVHS VCR?
I think it was SVHS.
Yeah, like bouncing around on the seat.
And we're just flying down this dirt road, bumping and, you know, thrashing everywhere.
We hadn't gotten the new tires yet, and the fucking thing was just skidding all over the place. The tires were rock hard.
I don't know who was driving, but I just remember, yeah, like spinning out, and there's like a brick wall that got pretty close.
Nobody's wearing seatbelts.
There weren't seatbelts in the car. There wasn't even carpet in the car.
And just getting kind of out of control.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was actually pretty stupid. That was pretty irresponsible. That was a lot of fun.
We only had the car for about 6 months. We bought it in June and then turned around and sold it in December. And the guy we sold it to was a real trashy guy. He showed up in the middle of the night to buy it because he had spent all day putting a head gasket in his Jeep so he could come tow the car home. And he ended up loading it onto an ATV trailer.
We finally got the thing loaded up on the trailer, and they didn't want to do it, so my dad ended up doing it. And he's out there, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Which is definitely not a good time to be buying a Craigslist car.
He's in his fucking BVDs with a Glock shoved down the front. When he gets the car up on the ramp inside this little ATV trailer, he opens the door real hard and just slams it into the side of the trailer. And then shuts it and just climbs out through the window. Oh man, I can't count how many times he called the car a piece of shit to them as they were trying to buy it.
We were happy to see it go.
That car sucked. But I liked it. I want to do another one. But that was a really poor example.
As fun as this car was, it wasn't what an SHO was supposed to be.
Well, that's the story of our Taurus SHO. If you like this video and want to stay tuned for more project car videos, be sure and hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, go ahead and give us a like. And thanks for watching.